Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh.
And Patty XRP.
And today we're going to dive into Panther's token generation event. Now, Panther Protocol has a long-standing partnership with Flare and the Songbird Network as of 2021. And they said last year Songbird will integrate with Panther's shielded pools into its Ethereum virtual machine to enable on-chain privacy for users. Our team will deploy Panther's privacy-preserving infrastructure on Songbird for code testing. Songbird users will be included in Panther's staking and governance. This will also be able to benefit from private DeFi within the network, access selective disclosures for both retail users and institutions, and enjoy early access to Panther's KYC AML zero knowledge solution on Songbird's institutional side. So this is a strong partner of Flare and the Songbird Network, and they are a layer 2 protocol. So Patty and I, in this video, I'm going to dive into Panther, which their token, ZKP, is now set to be released on Huobi, and there will be staking available once that is live. So Patty, what is taking place here with this token generation event from Panther?
Absolutely. So Panther Protocol put together something called the Launch DAO, where they had basically users who purchased tokens in either private or public sales. They allowed them to vote on when the protocol would go live. We've had a couple iterations of that over the past month. And even with the team asking to basically push the launch out a little bit so they could get more compliance stuff and just some exchange listings and things, in that regard set up prior to launching. So with this, the launch DAO is officially voted to launch Panther Protocol, which will happen today, January 31st, at essentially the last minute of the day UTC time. So that'd be like 2300 hour and 59 minutes. And so with that, we'll be seeing the token generation event take place. Tomorrow, we'll be seeing a listing on Huobi Global Exchange. And then also they have a whole thing for staking set up so that users have something to do with the ZKP tokens as they kind of roll out their minimum viable product in the future. So that's what we're going to be covering here. If this is the first time you've ever heard of Panther Protocol, we'll be linking all this stuff in the description. Also, at the end of this video, I'll link in our playlist for Panther Protocol, where we have several different videos, as well as an interview with their CTO, Anish Mohammed. And additionally, I'll link in the video that addresses the ZKP tokenomics. So moving on into this token generation event and exchange listing, basically, the TGE will take place tonight at 11:59 UTC time, and basically can last for around 2 to 3 hours for all the tokens to get distributed to the appropriate users. And with this, there's going to be an initial circulating supply of 93 million ZKP. The token is going to be issued on the Ethereum blockchain as an ERC20 token, and it'll eventually move over into different blockchains like Polygon or Songbird, Flare, Avalanche, some of their other partners as well, as that's all rolled out. Moving on down here. So if you're a private and seed buyer, you have a different way. You'll have to claim manually, and they would have sent out separate instructions for you to do so. And then anybody that participated in the public sale will receive their tokens directly in their wallets with no need to pay gas fees. And it should take around 2 to 4 hours after tokens are minted for all public sale participants to receive their tokens in their wallets. So basically, this will be the token contract address right here. And this is what you'll add to your wallet so that you can see and interact with the ZKP tokens in the future. This doesn't have to be added to receive the tokens, just so that, to receive them, but after the fact so that you can actually use the tokens. So moving on down here further on the information for their exchange listing. So basically, Huobi Global will list ZKP in its Pioneer Zone on February 1st, which will be tomorrow. A little bit about this. Huobi, there's a few countries, and they won't surprise you, that are excluded from using their exchange. And those are the United States, Japan, and Canada. And with that, certainly you could use certain methods to access it. However, the ZKP listing will be in their Pioneer Zone, which does require KYC to get access to. So those countries are more than likely going to not be able to participate in any trading on Huobi until they get further centralized exchange listings out there. However, this doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity to purchase ZKP tomorrow or in the next few days if you wanted to. Certainly, anybody with ZKP tokens that have vested and are issued to them, they could go and set up a liquidity pool on something like Uniswap or SushiSwap, where you would be able to go and deposit like maybe USDC or Ether or maybe USDT in return for ZKP tokens. However, a couple things to note with that is, if somebody sets one up, doesn't necessarily mean that there's a ton of liquidity in the pool. So definitely check slippage if you decide you see that one opens up and you want to purchase ZKP through a DEX. And also, when you first initialize the liquidity pool, whoever that person is initializing it is setting the price. So make sure it's not, something that you would think is ridiculous before going through and essentially buying ZKP through that. There's no guarantee anybody will do this as well, but, it's something if you're really interested, you can keep an eye out for. I like to use a website called dextools.io to see new liquidity pools that have popped up and identify where those are. So moving on further, for Huobi, ZKP deposits will open essentially as soon as it hits February 1st, UTC time. Then ZKP spot trading against Tether will open when the deposit volume meets the demand of market trading, which will be officially announced in advance. ZKP withdrawals will open at 1300 UTC on February 2nd. So it's going to be like a day and a half gap before you can actually withdraw ZKP from the Huobi exchange. And during the first 3 minutes after trading commences, Huobi Global will restrict the price for limit orders of ZKP to not more than 10 times the opening price. Normal trading will resume after the 3-minute opening price restriction. This is probably, I imagine, because of the fact you see a ton of buying pressure that happens when a token first gets listed on an exchange. And that's kind of their policy, I imagine. I don't know what reason they would do it for. So moving on down further here, what can you do with your ZKP once you get it? You'll be able to earn rewards in ZKP by staking and then also vote on project governance as they roll out the rest of the protocol. So moving on over here to ZKP, their ZKP staking blog, there's going to be 3 phases to this. And I'm excited that they're kind of rolling this out with the launch and everything as they get their MVP up and running over the next couple of months. So with this, starting at the beginning of the day UTC time on Wednesday, February 2nd, holders of unlocked ZKP or newly purchased ZKP will be able to stake in order to earn more rewards in ZKP. So the protocol will award 6.65 million ZKP, which includes the original planned 5 million ZKP pool, plus the extra 33% selected by protocol voters in a basically voting round they had with their launch DAO. And then moving on, like we said, you'll be able to vote in the future if you're staking here as well as more things are rolled out. So this is going to be phase 1 of the staking plan, which is called traditional staking. So with this as a user, you can stake ZKP in their governance staking pool. This will basically create a token called RPS or reward pool share at a 1-to-1 rate. This reward pool share will basically represent the staked ZKP that you have in the governance staking pool, as well as accrued interest over time. And in the future, if you want to unstake, then you will just go to their console, unstake, and it will burn the reward pool share tokens. And after 7 days, your ZKP plus any ZKP rewards accrued will be released back to you. So that's going to be phase 1. And this is going to last over a period of 90 days. So they have this nice little infographic here kind of showing annualized returns during this period. So you can see based on percentage of eligible token supply staked, what the different payouts would be over, a 30, 60, or 90-day period. And also more tokens will be unlocked via vesting during these 90 days. So over time, it's going to decrease if the same share of tokens are staked. So it's basically just going to be like, if there were 10, if you stake 10 ZKP out of 100 total in the pool, then you would get 10% of the rewards coming out over that period of time. So it's all about your share of ZKP in comparison to the rest of the pool. So moving on down further, phase 2 will be experimental staking, and this is where they do the first kind of deployments of their multi-asset shielded pools, which utilize ZK snarks for privacy. And so with this, we can see a timeline. While classic staking is going to start on February 2nd and end on May 4th, they'll start experimental staking sometime in March, it's looking like, and that will carry out until they're ready to launch the full thing on Polygon, which will be phase 3 of private staking. With this, the experimental staking is going to be like newer smart contracts, and so utilizing zero knowledge proofs, and maybe people view that as a little more risky. However, there will be boosted rewards for participating in the experimental staking in the future. And moving on down here, so private staking, which will be kind of the last thing we get to, where everything's starting to be rolled out on Polygon. So with this, basically, the transition from traditional towards private staking is to increase users' exposure to privacy while simultaneously strengthening the privacy set of the Panther ecosystem, as well as bootstrapping Panther's privacy pools. To understand why privacy staking contributes to privacy, check out their multi-asset shielded pools blog, and that kind of talks about as you add more assets to these pools, it's like you got more people involved in it, and it makes it harder to tell who's entering in and out of the pools. Hence increasing the privacy over time. And with this,
and this will be coming after Polygon. We know that they've talked about this is Songbird is going to be next, and it's going to be a priority for Panther to go on. We know that both the CEOs of Panther and Flare have said their incentives and their goals are very much aligned here. So we know that Songbird has a very large community, right? It's bootstrapped off the XRP community. So now this is another application here for privacy with compliance. And what I see a lot is people see privacy protocols and they think, oh, immediately the government's going to stomp that out. I want nothing to do with it. Panther is very different here. And this is very super important to understand that it's privacy with that compliance together. And this is kind of the secret sauce and what we're going to see in the future with zero knowledge proofs. Zero knowledge proofs allow for the verification of certain private data without revealing all that sensitive information about that user or that specific data. And that's something we're going to see expanded outward into financial markets, into different data markets too, and sharing of data. There's a high cost associated with custodying this data. So I think this is a very big use case, and there is a demand in the crypto markets right now for this. Because if you think of institutions, hedge funds, they're going to be coming into DeFi. They're going to want two things: privacy and compliance. And Panther offers that here with these multi-shielded pools starting on Polygon. And you'll be able to make your assets into Z assets. So there'll be ZKP, which will be private ZKP. And this is the third part of the staking here. And what was it that the CEO of Panther said regarding to Flare, Patty?
Yeah, so they had a Twitter Spaces call like a month or two ago, and somebody asked them about the Flare partnership. They said that they received a rather large grant from the Flare team for building on Flare and Songbird, and that's going to be one of their priorities once the MVP is up on Polygon for them to integrate with next. So I would expect we would see that integration sometime in 2022. And also, Mickey, just because I skipped over this part and definitely want to cover it real quick. So as far as once the experimental staking phase kind of comes to an end, all the ZKP rewarded for staking will be moved to and staked on a multi-asset shielded pool on the Polygon network, where it will become ZKP. So this stands for private ZKP. In addition to this, users will also receive Panther reward points, which are non-transferable points associated with their private wallet address. Panther reward points will eventually allow users to privately redeem their PRPs for private ZKP. And they're going to come out with another piece in the future that kind of gets into the privacy price discovery mechanism around PRPs. So this is going to be a phased rollout, like a lot of the projects we see out here. Certainly, I think there's going to be a lot of people interested in the trading of ZKP on day one, whether it's people that want to sell from the private or public sales or people trying to get in for the first time. I expect trading to be rather volatile. Also, if you're one of the people that can't access the Huobi global exchange to trade it and you're looking to do so, whether it's buy or sell, you can always look into and see if somebody lists it on a DEX in the future and possibly trade that way. All this stuff, as far as the staking, or if you trade on the Ethereum blockchain, it's going to require Ether for gas fees until they move to Polygon, where the token for gas will be Matic to kind of get in and out.
Yeah, so this is one of the bigger layer 2 projects that are launching here in 2022. It's probably the first big launch of a layer 2, and they have partnerships. I think it's with 10 to 12 different protocols, everything from Avalanche to Elderon to Near Protocol to Polygon to Flare, and that's a large amount of layer 1 networks. So this is a trend I think we're going to start seeing in the future, is many of these protocols moving to a multi-chain world. So it allows for that privacy to move now from Flare to Near to Elderon to Ethereum and Avalanche. This is going to be powerful moving forward, and this allows for different assets. We could see in the future something like FXRP or Spark have a Z version of it, and now it turns into a Z asset, which will be private. And then you could stake that in the multi-sided pool, and you could also earn there, as well as potentially earn the F asset rewards for holding FXRP. So this is something, if you're in the Flare community, you want to pay attention to. Now, there's no financial advice here. This is for educational purposes only regarding the ZKP token. It's going to be on Ethereum initially. So like Patty said, gas fees will be there, but it will be on multiple networks. So this will be coming to Songbird and to the Flare networks in the near future. We will see ZKP. And these layer 2s are getting big, and they're going to be part of the future ecosystem of DeFi. We need privacy. Not everything is going to be completely transparent and just open. The institutions, hedge funds, they're not going to want that. And I think it's also good for retail that we have some sense of privacy, and we could also have KYC AML compliance at the same time. And that's really, I think, the secret sauce here of the future. And I know so many people are fearful that KYC AML is going to destroy DeFi. Actually, it's going to open the floodgates to DeFi when it comes in. The question is, are they going to come out with some type of regulations that's going to just rattle the market, and we have to do it too quick? But things like Panther, Alliance Block, they're getting ready, even Flare, for the time when we are going to have KYC. But that doesn't mean you can't have privacy. So this is the benefits of new technologies like zero-knowledge proofs. Now, Panther's well-funded. I mean, they received over $30 million in funding, and they've been building out for well over a couple of years now. So this is one of the bigger projects that I've seen launching in 2022.
Awesome. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. This is the DeFi Standard. I'm Patty XRP.
And I'm Mickey B. Fresh.
And we're out. See y'all.